Hello and welcome to BloxNews. I'm happy to see you again. Let's start with the first subject. Questions swirl over the team behind Doge's second American Revolution. One is a 23-year-old software engineer from Nebraska who helped decipher an ancient scroll buried for centuries. Another was the runner-up in a hackathon contest last year as a Harvard senior. A third is the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar startup. These are among the operatives linked to Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, DEOG, whose work to slash public spending and reshape the federal bureaucracy have sent shockwaves through government agencies. For the past couple of weeks, DOGE staffers have appeared without warning throughout the nation's bureaucracy, seeking access to sensitive files, databases, and computer systems. Their movements inside offices from Washington, D.C. to Kansas City have been detailed by a frightened federal workforce and chronicled by media outlets seeking answers about their specific activities and intentions. Some of the most pointed concerns were summed up in a letter this week from Democratic senators to the White House. No information has been provided to Congress or the public as to who has been formally hired under DOGE, under what authority or regulations DOGE is operating, or how DOGE is vetting and monitoring its staff and representatives before providing them seemingly unfettered access to classified materials and Americans' personal information. Although the slate of software engineers in their early 20s working under DOGE appear to lack government experience, their resumes detail impressive accomplishments in the tech field. Meanwhile, on X, Musk's social media platform, DOGE itself has been boasting of alleged accomplishments. DOGE is saving the federal government approx. $1 billion per day, the account claimed in a post last week. A good start, though this number needs to increase to greater than $3 billion per day. The group has highlighted what it has dubbed wasteful spending, such as millions in DEI-related contracts and dozens of leases for underutilized buildings. Yet some warn DOGE's approach risks undermining federal offices that provide vital public services. If you don't understand the system you're trying to change, you don't understand how to prevent bad consequences, said Max Stier, the president and CEO of the Partnership for Public Service, a nonprofit that works towards building better government and a stronger democracy. He described DOGE's actions as an embodiment of the Silicon Valley world. Break it and then fix it. We should worry that government is not a tech startup. Breaking it to fix it is a horrifying model in the public sector because people get hurt. As DOGE continues its unprecedented overhaul of agencies ranging in everything from international aid to aviation to commerce, the architect behind its agenda has likened the current moment to the country's founding. In response to a post on X calling the effort the Second American Revolution, Musk replied, "Yes, and much needed." Changing the subject a little bit, we are going to talk about the Indians treated like criminals. They are against Trump. Treated like criminals. Shackling of Indians aboard 40-hour migrant flight sparks new outrage against Trump. U.S. officials kept around 100 deported Indian migrants in shackles for their 40-hour flight home, including during bathroom breaks, in the latest incident to spark anger overseas at President Donald Trump's migration crackdown. Indian lawmakers demonstrated outside Parliament on Thursday, some wearing shackles and others mocking the much-touted friendship between Trump and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Elsewhere in New Delhi, members of the youth wing of India's main opposition party burned an effigy of Trump. Last month, the spectacle of Colombian deportees being shackled as they boarded a U.S. deportation flight sparked a bitter dispute between the two countries, with Colombian President Gustavo Petro initially refusing the military plane permission to land. The anger in India comes days ahead of an expected visit by Modi to meet Trump, whom he has called a true friend, at the White House. S. Kuldeep Singh Dhaliwal, a government minister in the western state of Punjab, where the deportation flight landed, urged Modi to now use his friendship to resolve the issue. Dhaliwal also questioned the usefulness of this friendship if it cannot help Indian citizens in need, his office said in a statement. The flight to India was the longest in distance since the Trump administration began deploying military aircraft for migrant deportations, according to a U.S. official. Our hands were cuffed and ankles tied with chains before we took the flight, said 23-year-old Akashdeep Singh, who arrived in Punjab on Wednesday with 103 other deportees. We requested the military officials to take it off to eat or go to the bathroom, but they treated us horribly and without any regard whatsoever, Singh added. The way they looked at us, I'll never forget it. We went to the bathroom with the shackles on. Right before landing, they removed the shackles for the women. We saw it. For us, they were removed after we landed by the local police officials. U.S. Border Patrol Chief Michael W. Banks posted a video of the Indian deportees being put onto a plane on X. In the video, shackles are seen on the wrists and ankles of several men who shuffle slowly up the ramp. CNN has reached out to the Pentagon and U.S. Customs and Border Protection for comment on whether the deportees were held in shackles for the duration of the flight. We are getting back after a short ad break when we talk about more interesting subjects. Stand by! We are back here on BloxNews, and we are going to talk about the measles outbreak expands in West Texas, a Round County with low vaccination rate. A measles outbreak is growing in a rural area of West Texas, where vaccination rates are well below the recommended level. In late January, 2 children in Gaines County were hospitalized for measles. On Wednesday, the state health department shared in a health alert that the number of confirmed cases had grown to 6. As of Friday afternoon, the outbreak has jumped to 14 confirmed cases and 6 probable cases among people who are symptomatic and had close contact with infected individuals. Zach Holbrooks, executive director of the South Plains Public Health District, told CNN, investigations are ongoing, as cases have been identified in parts of the region that are outside the Gaines County lines where the first cases were reported. All the cases are believed to be among people who are not vaccinated against measles, Holbrooks said, and most of them are in children. A record share of U.S. kindergartners had an exemption for required vaccinations last school year, leaving more than 125,000 new school children without coverage for at least one state-mandated vaccine, according to data published by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in October. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has set a goal that at least 95% of children in kindergarten will have gotten 2 doses of the measles, mumps, rubella, MMR vaccine, a threshold necessary to help prevent outbreaks of the highly contagious disease. The U.S. has now fallen short of that threshold for 4 years in a row. MMR coverage is particularly low in Gaines County, where nearly 1 in 5 incoming kindergartners in the 2023-24 school year did not get the vaccine. The 18% vaccine exemption rate for the county is one of the highest in the state, according to data from the Texas Department of State Health Services. At the state level, vaccine exemptions were highest in Idaho, where more than 14% of incoming kindergartners did not have their required shots, according to CDC data from last school year. Texas overall was slightly above the national average, with about 4% exemptions. Measles is an airborne disease that can cause serious health consequences, including death, especially for young and unvaccinated children. General symptoms may include fever, cough, runny nose, watery eyes, and a rash of red spots. About 1 in 5 unvaccinated people in the U.S. who get measles will be hospitalized, according to the CDC. About 1 in every 20 children will develop pneumonia, and others may develop a dangerous swelling in the brain called encephalitis. Up to 3 of every 1,000 children who become infected with measles may die from respiratory and neurologic complications. In the Health Alert Wednesday, the Texas Health Department warned that additional cases are likely to occur in Gaines County and the surrounding communities due to the highly contagious nature of the disease. Officials recommend that residents of Gaines County immediately improve their immunity and help prevent disease spread by ensuring that they are up to date on vaccinations. Children and adults who have not been vaccinated should get 1 dose immediately, followed by a second dose after 28 days. Infants between 6 and 11 months should get an early dose of the vaccine, and children who have had their first shot should get their second as soon as possible. The South Plains Public Health District started a measles clinic Thursday, Holbrook said, where daily testing and vaccination will be available starting next week. Changing the topic, we are going to talk about the newly discovered asteroid that now has a slightly higher risk of hitting Earth. A recently discovered asteroid that has captured the attention of the astronomy community now has a slightly increased risk of affecting Earth. Named 2024 YR4, the asteroid has a 2.2% chance of hitting our planet on December 22, 2032, according to the European Space Agency. The risk assessment has increased from a chance of 1.2% over the last week due to new observations. Astronomers expect the percentage to evolve as more observations are shared. If this asteroid follows the pattern of other near-Earth asteroids after their discovery, the chances of impact will rise and then fall, according to the agency. For example, the asteroid Apophis was once considered one of the most hazardous asteroids, with the potential to strike Earth after its discovery in 2004. In 2021, scientists revised that opinion after a precise analysis of the asteroid's orbit. The more astronomers can observe asteroid 2024 YR4, the more they can refine their understanding of its size and trajectory, which will determine the likelihood of an impact. Basically, the more observations we get, the more we can localize and confirm the asteroid's trajectory, which is most likely to turn out to be a flyby and not an impact, according to a blog post the agency shared. Hence, we expect the risk forecast can be steadily, stepwise, reduced to 0. The asteroid is estimated to be 131 to 295 feet, 40 to 90 meters, wide. The space rock has a size range comparable to that of a large building, said Dr. Paul Chodas, manager for the Center for Near-Earth Object Studies, or CNEOS, at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. Chodas added that the size of the asteroid, which astronomers are trying to determine with follow-up observations using multiple telescopes, is currently highly uncertain. If the asteroid turns out to be on the large end of its estimated size range, the impact could produce blast damage as far as 50 kilometers, 31 miles, from the impact site, Chodas said. But that's in the unlikely event that it might impact at all. The potential for damage arises because of the incredibly high speed, about 17 kilometers per second, or 38,028 miles per hour, at which the asteroid would enter the atmosphere. Asteroids of this size have an impact on Earth every few thousand years, and they can cause severe damage to local regions, according to the ESA. In 1908, A 30-meter-wide, 98-foot-wide asteroid struck the Podkamennaya Tunguska River in a remote Siberian forest of Russia, according to the Planetary Society. The event leveled trees and destroyed forests across 830 square miles, 2,150 square kilometers. And in 2013, a 20-meter-wide, 66-foot-wide asteroid entered Earth's atmosphere over Chelyabinsk, Russia. It exploded in the air, releasing 20 to 30 times more energy than that of the first atomic bomb, generating brightness greater than the sun, exuding heat, damaging more than 7,000 buildings and injuring more than 1,000 people. BloxNews ends here. Thank you so much for watching us today. You can find more news on our website, sites.google.com/view/RobloxTVNet. If you have any important subject, feel free to send it to our email address, office.robloxtv@gmail.com. See you next time. Goodbye.